Hello and welcome to my therapy session. From the get-go, I'm here to tear down some walls and open the floodgates of discovery that may well disappoint you, because I have a confession to make. I know many see my weighing about
Oh my god,
90
what is that?
pounds twig of a body as the ultimate masculine figure, and my voice constantly going into higher octaves the more
What
I
did he
accent
say?
certain things, as the only device connecting us to Adam from the Bible himself. But I actually really like very wholesome content. In fact, me watching cute cat videos hours on end while trying to fall asleep is just a canon event. To the point where, and I kid
No
you not,
cap.
quite recently I had a first positive dream since feels like forever about me watching some cozy content creators playing Pokemon or something like that with animals and all. I was daydreaming and not wanting to wake up and all of that good stuff. Why am I saying all of this? No reason. So today's topic is a natural extension to the last video I made, in a way. Just way more specific, because we'll be using two YouTube channels as examples of a very specific and quite frankly dangerous content farm theme. When I said my inner monologue that leaked to the outside world and made it into the footage like you're watching an episode of Death Note was pointless, I actually deceived you, because that one very minuscule thing I just shared with you contained more soul than today's subjects' entire YouTube careers. And it's not like they are exactly fresh prisoners of the social media algorithm machine. They've been there, done that already. You can find more personality in a cardboard cutout of an anime character. I'm pretty sure the AI voices reading an AI written script pour more emotions into their works. In fact, I could bet the very top side of my left pinky that if the technology came in sooner, both Sunny V2 and Moon would be AI creators themselves. They were truly born in the wrong times. That in itself, and I'm subverting all the expectations while ruining your worldview again, isn't wrong in my opinion. Not everybody needs to have an aesthetical side of videos
comparable
to a child that just learned how to use Microsoft Paint, or an awakened from centuries of hibernation caveman who can barely turn his camera on. I actually like professionalism sometimes. We need both of the best worlds, if you ask me. The problem in this and many more particular cases is that this same
unoriginal
process disassociates the creators from any kind of accountability or will to change. Say what you want about YouTubers and content creators in general. I know I did and do, but one undeniable fact is that by publishing videos, you are to some extent putting yourself out there. You are actually representing your persona. There's no way to fully detach yourself from it. Being able and even forced to be held accountable gives reasons, motivation to create something better, challenges you, your opinions, skills, basically everything you put out there. And motivation usually leads to the creation of something better, getting into topics more
Thoroughly.
making less mistakes and being self-reflective, sometimes even apologetic. So with that cleared up, now I'll call out the universal problem with these kinds of video essays content farms. They abuse the fact that they have the privilege to detach themselves from anything they do and share on social media, because they don't need to respond to anything. They don't need to involve themselves in any way ever. They don't
feel
like they have anything to gain, because they can just spit out this corpo-like mediocrely researched bullcrap regardless. It's much easier that way. And because they don't see anything around what they do, they can't possibly reflect on anything. I mean, how could they when there's probably not a single brain cell responsible for thinking about what they worked on the previous day? The entry level of their channels, quality-wise, is usually very solid, as a lot of them start as projects made by entire teams. And you wouldn't believe it, but it's a big problem, because as I said, they never change. You won't see them evolve or change anything up like you normally would with people naturally having some stage fright and slash or quality issues, for example. Those channels start at their limit, which is depressive now that I think about it. Damn, that's deep. There are so many connections, I feel like I'm having a psychotic episode, but bear with me when I say that all of this also wouldn't be an issue if it weren't for these kinds of practices being realistically harmful. We've all done some kind of labor that we weren't really into. We weren't putting our hearts into it. Just doing it to get by, or even some fortunate, hardworking humanoid creatures. Hey, big ups for y'all, keep doing you. For getting the bug. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's not like I don't want those guys to earn money. If you can exploit the system, then hell, who am I to stop you? The system exploits us already, so screw them. The problem starts when you are the one exploiting people. Since every day starts with a morning, ignore the fact that technically it starts from midnight, don't be a degenerate and get proper sleep. Let's allow our first example to take the front stage and become the ray of sunshine that precedes our enlightenment. A lot has been said about Sunny V2, both negative and positive things. And that's in huge part thanks to the fact that his work is, for streamers and YouTubers, comparable to what average TikTok content is for a 10-year-old. So basically very easy to digest and very friendly when it comes to keeping their attention on said content, which there's nothing wrong with that, as long as the videos are just a bit of mindless fun, like a lot of things you can find on TikTok, or when they tell a compelling story, maybe give something to think about. And that's what a good chunk of his content is like, for the most part. The main and only real issue that would warrant me talking about him that I have with Sunny V2 is that his overall presentation is insanely misleading and oftenly just not true. From titles, thumbnails to the content itself. Sunny has a tendency to pick topics that are very mild and not really a big thing, which is okay because he provides commentary of the internet and celebrities worlds. The problem with him specifically is, as I said just now, he makes it seem like the goddamn world is ending and the people he talks about are the worst beings known to mankind ever since Ivan IV, or how their life has changed completely after this. And the video we talk about a then podcast episode. You can have a headline that isn't exactly 100% true statement on a technical level. Same with thumbnails, intros, or well, anything really. As long as you provide further context within the content of your article, essay, or a video. And watching Sunny's works after reading some of his titles, I personally don't feel that's always the case. Celebrities who work normal jobs now, for example, is a video that mentions a bunch of celebrities starting doing their own things, like buying a farm and becoming self-employed, which isn't exactly in line with what the title would make you believe you'll see there. And it's done for no reason at all other than making the video longer. There's no interesting insight on how different circumstances led to some of the people mentioned there having much more freedom of choice than others. It's just there. This formula perfectly sums up basically all of the video essays you find on this channel. There's talk about what happened with somebody, there are theories sprinkled in for good measure that narratively are oftenly told the same way as the factual events, which is something I have a problem with. The most popular case of them all here is the Chris Tyson situation, where Sunny seemingly showed us more of himself than he ever did unknowingly by, well, being bigoted. I'm not gonna try to word it differently and we'll just call spade a spade if you don't mind, which gained even more acknowledgement from internauts after Chris was outed as a predator, with some people claiming that he was right all along. And listen, before you laugh at me and spit in my direction as a sign of absolute disrespect towards me for not getting that it was a meme and taking it seriously, listen, I know that the Sunny V2 was right all along thing was a meme for some people, okay? I'm aware of that fact. I read social cues on the internet sometimes. But what's also true is that a lot of other fellow Wi-Fi addicts took it seriously, and as a proof that Sunny's opinion on popular people that wanted to transition was proved correct because of that example. When back then there not only wasn't any proof for Chris being a creep, but also her being a creep has nothing to do with his original argument. He wasn't spot on anywhere there. It's like randomly getting the right answer while your calculations were completely off. It's not sustainable, and the only thing it proves is unreliability of the genius that gave you the answer. It happened a bunch of times when Sunny wasn't really informed, didn't do research regarding some topics, yet presented his based on either your narration or personal bias opinions in the same breath as something that did actually take place. And at that point, that's just deception, or even slander. It sucks, but it probably won't ever change because the formula works and our son boy doesn't want to acknowledge any problems it has. He doesn't need to. Alright, although it's the sun that's technically shining the most, we all know that it's the darkest nights that bring the brightest stars, which can be perfectly portrayed here, as moon is a much more extreme, and I'm not going to play around with words here, much worse of the two examples. When I tell you Sunny V2 has nothing on these internet deviants, I really mean it. And the craziest thing is that I can't even really pinpoint my critique towards one person like I could with the Sunman, because the Moon channel is run through a huge rotation of people, entire teams that do script writing, editing, research, etc. The only thing that never changes there is the voice, because that's the actual person owning this channel. Just because he owns it doesn't mean the content is really his though. I'm unsure how it could work, but if I was one of those video essayists, I'd probably tell you, like it's a proven fact, that they are some kind of plants. Since success of this channel was so immediate, it doesn't even look real. My theory is that it's one person, the one who's responsible for voicing written by other people's scripts, who invested a lot of money into not only the project, but also marketing. And by marketing, I mean possibly, allegedly buying out an account. But you didn't hear that from me. Actually, I've seen a bunch of YouTubers that probably did it. And you know what? As long as they make good content, then I don't mind that they bought out a channel. I don't mind if there was some nepotism involved either, because at the end of the day, who cares? They still work for it. And even if they didn't, like Moon here, it's still none of my business. As I said, get the bug. It's just that with Moon, I'm willing to call it out because their practices are insanely shady. Moon has been outed as plagiarist before, copying a video idea and basically the script itself from a lesser known YouTuber, hoping to save a buck on them script writers, I suppose, which was confirmed by Moon himself under the comment section of said video. But he has since deleted it, which good riddance, I guess. People wonder why Moon's opinions on certain topics seem to be shifting, not understanding that it's because they are written by different people. It's not hypocrisy. They are just different opinions. And if something can make the main guy more money, then of course he will read that sponsorship ad out loud, no matter what it could possibly be, for the right price, of course. The thumbnail to my previous video was deliberately done as a caricature of the style presented on those video essayist channels, because both of my latest works, including the one you're watching right now, involve absolute BS and conspiracy theory spreaders. It turns out that some of the applications for the job were found in tinfoil hat or something along those lines, because I can't explain otherwise how topics like anti-vax propaganda can be present on a channel that claims to be all about documenting facts. I don't know about you, but personally I can't trust a word that comes out of this guy's mouth anymore. And that's like the main point of these kinds of channels, since they are not trying to showcase you a different point of view or make things entertaining or funny to watch. The entire basis of video essays lays within information. And if you can't even trust that, then what the hell do you have left? A highly efficient content farm that reaches millions of people because of their already established before position. That's what. Moon, ironically, perfectly exemplifies corpo greed on social media. And I say ironically because they fit the description almost too perfectly. From the style of videos to content within them itself. They are presented in a professional way, they have huge backing behind the scenes, and they are a well-oiled machine that's created to make money without any consideration of what they are sending to the world. I understand that the topics these kinds of channels tackle are oftenly quite interesting and appealing to the eye. I know it's something you can just turn on and not think much about throughout the experience, and I'm not going to tell you to stop watching such content. It can be fun. I'm just here to tell you to simply watch out to not take the information provided there at face value. If you are not really watching attentively and it just plays in the background, then I'd suggest treating it as pure entertainment instead of something factual, because it just oftenly isn't researched nearly well enough because of deadlines and because these creators just couldn't care less. If you haven't had enough of documentary style content farms, then check my video about Illuminati, where I talked about a boss of such channel abusing her workers. And also check my previous video because it talked about different type of engagement farming on social media and they are kinda connected. Okay? Okay. Thank you for watching and I'll be here for the next session.